Hi, everybody. Well, I'll be honest with you, this is the second prayerful pause I've recorded today because the first one, for some reason, wouldn't upload. So I'm a little frustrated with that, but I jumped back in. I'll save that for another day and take a different topic for today. Um, what I wanted to talk about, actually, as my second topic, is something that I heard on a documentary that I was listening to over the weekend. We have our local PBS station, WXXI, does documentaries, and they're online that you can listen to. And I was listening to one that was called Tailor Made, and it's about the garment industry history here in Rochester. And it said something that I know that I was brought up hearing, and I suspect that some of you were too. And I'm wondering if it's still true. And that's that it said, the most important thing is to provide a better world, a better life for our children. And I'm wondering if you think that's true. Do we still operate that way in our world today? Is the focus still to provide a better world, a better life, maybe not for our children, we might not have children, but for the next generation? Do we still look at our country that way? Do we still look at our faith that way? And if not, why not? And if we do, what are we doing to help bring that about? Now, certainly some people would say the whole discussion around climate change is for our children and for their benefit. I wouldn't deny that. But I'm talking more personally about our personal lives. Do we all still sacrifice for the next generation? I can certainly think of many families and instances where people do, where the parents go without so the children can have. Many of our immigrant families go through that, and they're well documented. But what about those people who have been settled for a while? Those families have been here for a couple of generations. And then it raises the question for me, how much of that is tied in with a sense of privilege? Certainly white privilege, but other privilege as well, educational advantages, what I would call educational privilege, middle class or upper middle class privilege, so economic privilege. Are we still thinking about those who come after us, or are we focused on ourselves instead? And I don't pretend to know the answers here. I'm raising the questions. But it seems to me that if we're not doing that, then it's the law of diminishing returns. I remember my dad saying to me that when it comes to teaching, you must have students who are smarter than you are. Because if not, by the law of diminishing returns, society will keep getting dumber and dumber, and therefore, as teachers, we need to share everything we know and expect and hope and encourage that our students will take the information beyond where we are. I'm wondering if we do that with our children. I'm wondering if teachers still do that. I don't know. I'm just tossing it out there and hope that you will give me some feedback, because I want to know. I want to feel good that we're doing this right, that we are preparing for the next generations to come along. Maybe that's what this election year is about. People talk about it as a flexion point in our history that will determine where we go for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Maybe that's true. I'm treating it as if it were that. I hope that some of you are too. But back to the question, do we still feel that way? Is that still a priority for us? If it is not, why is it not? Should it be? And if yes, how do we get it back to that? If we do, how are we doing that? What do we see reflected in our children and our children's children? And I'm speaking here collectively, recognizing that many of us don't have children. What do we see in the generations lying ahead, and how are we making a difference? That's the question for today. How are we making a difference for future generations? Okay. Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause with the pastor. an opportunity, a few moments out of our day to think of something greater than ourselves. And in this case, we're thinking about the future generations coming after us. What are we doing about that? I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. If you want to learn more about South Church or about our videos on our YouTube channel at South Church Rochester, you can find those addresses at the end of this video. And for right now, I'll just say, God bless. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.